Welcome back to the Janky News Update, the show where I, your host Janky, brings you all the latest news, controversies, and discussions from the past week in gaming. And this week we got a new Star Wars RPG announced. One game won 9 awards at the Game Awards, and Todd Howard found another way to release Skyrim. So we got a lot to talk about, and without any further ado, we better get right into it. One of the biggest trailers from the Game Awards this year was Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic. And honestly, just hearing the words Old Republic sent me and most people into full nostalgia hype mode. The game is being directed by Casey Hudson, who is absolutely a legend in the industry. You know, his work on KOTOR and just RPGs in general cannot be understated. And this, paired with a new Old Republic game, has completely set the expectations sky high. Now, some important context here. The trailer was just cinematic, no gameplay, no, mechanics or systems, just pure vibes, really. It wasn't anything really to chew on, but it obviously got people hyped. So naturally, with all this hype, with a massive game, clearly probably in early development, people assume that this won't be coming out until at least 2030, right? Like that was kind of the vibe that people got. But Casey Hudson came out himself and put all this to rest by saying the game will absolutely come out before 2030. He said, I'm not getting any younger. And fair enough, but that's quite ambitious. I mean, we know how long games take these days. This one is in early development. We didn't get any, gameplay or anything really substantial. So to say it's going to come out in the next 4 years is quite the statement, but yeah, he pretty much confirmed that it will be out 2029 or earlier, and that's exciting. Personally, I'm all right with playing some more Old Republic in the next 4 years, but as long as they don't rush it, expectations are massive. This is going to be probably one of the biggest Star Wars games of all time, and they just have to nail it, right? Don't rush it. I'm fine with waiting until 2030, but if it's out before that and it's good, fair enough, right? The Game Awards were earlier this week, and if you missed it, let's just talk about the biggest story of the night. Expedition 33 cleaned up at the Game Awards, and when I say cleaned up, I mean a record-breaking 9 wins out of their 12 nominations. And that's massive. It was massive enough that the Prime Minister of France even got involved and shouted them out, which is huge praise, right? Their wins include Best Indie, Best Debut Indie, Best Music, Best Art Direction, Best Performance by Jennifer English, Best Game Direction, Best RPG, Best Narrative, and of course, Game of the Year. Now look, I love Expedition 33. I genuinely think it's one of the best expressions of art in a game we've got ever. I mean, the music was incredible. Storytelling was absolutely insane. The art itself was great. But for me, there is a little bit of a problem here with it winning 9 awards, specifically the indie categories. I know that Expedition 33 is technically an indie game, but these awards are a way for indie titles and indie developers to get some recognition and some praise on a massive scale like they don't usually get, right? I mean, we had Ball Pit this year. We had The Seance at Blake Manor, the latter of which wasn't even nominated for an indie award. And I just think that it was a chance to show some love to some more indie titles, Expedition 33 was great, but we all knew it was great. It was a massive critical success at launch. It was going to be a success. It was a massive, massive game, and I just wish we got, a lower budget, smaller team kind of game winning one of these indie awards, for me personally. And I wasn't the only one who was a bit conflicted at the massive sweep from Expedition 33. The developers behind Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 took to Twitter after they didn't take home a single award. They were nominated for 3 awards, and in all 3 categories that they were nominated for, Expedition 33 won, and that got them kind of heated. I mean, understandably so, right? Like that's gotta be a little bit of a gut punch. But what they did, well, it was funny. They said, it's not our fault. Blame the French, which, I love to blame the French. I love to make fun of the French just as much as the next guy. It's just good comedy. But this is the second time this year that Warhorse has come out and, outed another developer publicly on Twitter. First, it was the Outer Worlds 2 that they trashed for not having a in-depth, simulation game. And now it's Expedition 33 for just being a better game. That might be controversial, but I love both games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was amazing, but I think that Expedition 33 did deserve all of their awards, apart from maybe the indie ones. It definitely deserved all of the awards that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was nominated for, so I don't know. I don't love seeing developers come out and, attack other developers for their games and for their art. I just think that this kind of hostile, environment isn't good for gaming. Gaming is massive, it's mainstream, and I think it's better that way for everyone. You have dozens of games that could win awards every single year, and coming out and, taking shots at another developer just isn't the right thing to do. It's not healthy. Stay in your own lane, make your games, let other people make their games, and if they win the awards, so be it. We all know Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an exceptional game. I don't see why you need to go out and, take to Twitter with your frustrations at not winning an award, personally. As for the announcements from the Game Awards, I will keep this one pretty brief because I already did a full recap on my favorite games announced at the Game Awards, so check that out if you haven't already, but we're going to talk about some ones that I missed here, some ones that definitely could have been in that video, but I decided to leave until today. And let's start with Total War Warhammer 40K. This one is huge for Warhammer fans. It looks massive. It's a galaxy-spanning strategy game with absurd scale and visuals. You'll be able to play as one of 4 factions, waging war across the galaxy, and it's developed by Creative Assembly. It doesn't have a release date yet, but it looks insane. Next up is No Law. This is a gritty, violent first-person shooter set in a cyberpunk world. You'll play as a massive dude with a mustache and absolutely zero anger management training. It's brutal, it's stylish, and it just generally looks cool as hell. The next one is for you gaming unks. We got a new Mega Man game coming. It's a classic 2D side-scrolling. It's very old school in all the best ways, and Mega Man is a bit before my time, but I do love that they are sticking to their roots instead of turning it into like a open world live service Mega Man RPG. Thank God for that. We've seen a lot of that recently, and I'm just glad they're gonna, come out with a 2D platformer, side-scrolling, shoot 'em up kind of game, It's great. Larian announced their next game, and it's a new Divinity game. It's simply called Divinity. The trailer was absolutely disgusting in all the best ways, and people are hyped. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, as with most people, got me fully hooked on CRPGs. So honestly, I'm just excited to see what Larian cooks next. If it hits anywhere near the levels of Baldur's Gate 3, this could be an all-time classic for me, and I can't wait, because Larian has become one of my favorite studios. After Baldur's Gate 3, I checked out some of their older games, and I love the studio, I love this format. I'm kind of late into the CRPG genre. I mean, I've played a few back in the day with some Diablo and stuff, but Baldur's Gate 3 was the first CRPG that I fully spent like countless hours in, and I'm just excited for another one. If there were any other games that I missed that you thought were cool, chances are I probably talked about them more in depth in my most recent video, so go check that out if you haven't. But let's move on with the other news. Probably the most shocking news of the week is that Todd Howard found another way to release Skyrim. Shocker, right? Bethesda randomly shadow dropped Skyrim on the Switch 2, complete with a live action trailer kind of thing. And obviously, desperate Elder Scrolls fans took to this trailer trying to find any sort of meaning for a new Elder Scrolls game, and seemingly they found it. I mean, in the trailer or the ad, one of the characters' speech skill increases to level 27. So by internet logic, that means that the Elder Scrolls 6 will come out in 2027, right? Personally, I think this is a massive reach. I don't expect the Elder Scrolls 6 until 2030 or after. Todd Howard said himself that it is a long way away. But that said, they're loving their shadow drops recently. Oblivion Remastered, some Skyrim ports, they love shadow dropping. So maybe we'll see The Elder Scrolls 6 in December 27th? I don't know. Don't hold your breath though. I'm not expecting anything anytime soon. Finally, let's talk about Netflix. In last week's news, I covered that Netflix was working on an acquisition for Warner Brothers, including their game studios. And while that does still seem to be in the works, an interview recently with Netflix's co-CEO, Greg Peters, had him saying that they didn't even take into account the Warner Brothers game division when doing their acquisition. They said that it wasn't substantial at all in the price of the merger or the acquisition, and it didn't really cross their minds that, oh, they have games, which is crazy and kind of disappointing and also quite concerning because Warner Brothers has some massive IPs. I mean, they haven't really had a good past couple years, but they still have Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, Batman, and lots more. Those are just to name a few. And those IPs, those franchises, they have to be worth something, right? We see game studios get bought for billions of dollars that have way less, quality and, IP in their library. I mean, I don't know. This is concerning because my biggest, worry with Netflix buying Warner Brothers was that they were going to mess up these games. They were going to make them like subscription based or put them on mobile or something. But this could honestly be worse. I feel like indifference might kill these franchises faster than bad management even could. And that's just sad. It's disappointing. There is some games in the work from some of these studios. I mean, we know about a Hogwarts Legacy sequel. We know that there's that Batman Lego game. I think that might be out already, actually, so that's good. We know that NetherRealm is reportedly working on another fighting game. We don't know if it's Mortal Kombat or if it's another DC game, but there is games in the works. We just don't know how Netflix as a publisher will, promote them, put them out. We have no idea. And this quote from a co-CEO of Netflix kind of concerns me in that realm, right? I never thought I'd see the day where Mortal Kombat would cease to exist, but Netflix might actually make that a reality, and that would suck, like big time. But that's gonna do it for today's video. That was the news. Let me know what you think about Netflix acquiring all these studios. Do you think Elder Scrolls 6 could be out in December? What was your favorite trailer from the Game Awards? Let me know all of these things, and let me know what you're playing this week. I always love to hear what you guys are playing. Anyways, as always, I've been Janky. If you like this video, consider leaving it a like, commenting, subscribing, all those good things. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.